Okay, so the next group of would be the polygons, would be areas of polygons and the composite areas. So let's look at areas of polygons first. This first one right here, this is a parallelogram. And you're told it's a parallelogram. It says over on the side that it's a parallelogram. See, right there. Parallelogram. Like how I said that? Good. Now, a parallelogram has unique characteristics, one of those being the opposite sides are congruent. So, if this is 7, this whole side would also be 7. A lot of the mistakes people were making is they were labeling this little piece as 7. If that whole side's 7, that whole side's 7. If this is 5, this is 5. So when you're asked to find the perimeter, perimeter is like your walking distance. If I were to walk all the way around the edges. So my perimeter is going to be 5 plus 7 plus 5 plus 7, which is 24 units. Okay, so my perimeter is 24 units. Now I know I didn't write the other answers in there. Now to find the area is actually base times height. And here's where we ran into problems. A lot of people knew that the base was 7, but they assumed that the height was 5. This is your height. So in order to find our height, we have to apply the Pythagorean theorem because that's a right triangle. Now, I have a right triangle. My hypotenuse is 5, one of my legs is 3. So I'm going to do subtraction. 5 squared minus 3 squared equals h squared. When you have the hypotenuse in a leg, you subtract. So I've got 25 minus 9 equals h squared, which I'm going to come over here because I'm running out of room. So 16 equals h squared. I'm going to take the square root of both sides. So my height is 4. So to find my area, it's 7 times 4, which is 28 square units. But you had to use Pythagorean theorem to find the height. Okay? Now, let's look at the next one. This was a commonly missed question. It was a little misleading, but what we're looking for here is the area and perimeter of the shaded region, okay? So the shaded region, I want to know what the perimeter for the shaded region was and the area. The perimeter of the shaded region is still the perimeter of the shaded area. If you were to walk in a rectangle, this is the perimeter of your shaded region. If this is a rectangle, okay, and this is 10.5 and that's 21, that means that this is also 10.5 and this is also 21. So to find my perimeter, I'm going to add 10.5 plus 10.5 plus 21 plus 21, and you come out with 63 centimeters. And that's just plain old centimeters. It's not area. We're not squaring it. All right, so now let's find the area of just the shaded region. Now the shaded region is right here. The shaded region is just those areas. So what I have to do basically is I'm going to find the area of the rectangle. And what am I going to subtract? 2 circles. So I'm going to find the area of the rectangle and then I'm going to subtract the 2 circles that are cut out. Area of the rectangle is pretty simple. For the rectangle, you have 21 times 10.5. And when you do 21 times 10.5, you get 220.5 centimeters squared. Now that's what the area would have been had we not cut the circles out. If the whole thing is shaded, we would just find the area of the rectangle. But 2 of those circles have been cut out. So how do we do that? Well, we have to find the area of a circle. So we got to find the radius of these circles. Well, if it's 21 all the way across, that means that the diameter of each of these circles is 11.5 centimeters. That's the diameter. I don't want the diameter for area, I want the radius. So the radius of my circle, just the radius, is 5.25 centimeters. That's the same for both circles. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to find the area of one circle. Now the area of a circle is pi times radius squared. What's my radius? 5.25 squared. So I'm going to take 5.25 and I'm going to square it, and I'm going to get, when I get 5.25 squared, I'm going to get 27.5625 pi. So we're going to probably multiply it times pi, and you're going to get 86.6. So one circle is 86.6 centimeters squared. But how many circles do I have? I've got 2 of them. So I have to subtract another 86.6 centimeters squared to get my area. So now that I've got it, I'm going to take the 220.5 centimeters squared, and I'm going to subtract these 2 guys. And that's 173.2 centimeters squared. And when I subtract that, I get 47.3 centimeters squared. So the shaded area is 47.3 centimeters squared. Again, I had to subtract off the portions that were missing, okay? So let's look at the back. All right, at the top, this one was a rhombus, okay? It's a rhombus. Now a rhombus, if you don't remember, a rhombus is a parallelogram with 4 congruent sides. A square is a type of rhombus, okay? Now, you can't use the regular polygon area formula here because a rhombus is not regular. Only a square is regular. A rhombus can have 4 different angles. The only thing for a rhombus is that the diagonal, is that all 4 sides are the same and it's a parallelogram. So the area formula for a rhombus is 1/2 diagonal 1 times diagonal 2. Half of the product of the diagonals. Now, the other characteristic of a rhombus, since it's a parallelogram, what does that mean? That means that the diagonals bisect each other, right? So if that's 3, that's 3, and if that's 3, that's 3. So if I want to find the area of a rhombus, this one is going to be 1/2 diagonal 1. This diagonal is 3 plus 3, which is 6. And this diagonal is 3 plus 3, which is 6, which happens to be a square. That's the only time the diagonals are the same. So you have 36 divided by 2, which is 18 square units. So that is the area of your rhombus, 18 square units. Okay? So let's look at the last one under the area umbrella, and we're going to look at the trapezoid, okay? This is a trapezoid. Okay? The formula for the area of a trapezoid is 1/2 the sum of the bases times the height. So the area of a trapezoid is 1/2 base 1 plus base 2 times height. So we got to find all these particular pieces. Now let's do the perimeter. Perimeter again is the walk around. What am I missing on the perimeter? I'm missing that side. That's the same as the height. So I got to find the height. And once again, what kind of triangle do I have? A right triangle. So there's several ways I can do this. If this is 11, that means this is 11. And if the whole thing is 15, what does that mean this is? 4. So you can do Pythagorean theorem, 8 squared minus 4 squared equals h squared. So find h. Or, since that's 60, what's this? 30. It's a 30, 60, 90. Remember, whatever's aside across from the 30, how do we find the 60? It's that times square root of 3. So this is also 4 square roots of 3. So now I can do my perimeter. My perimeter is going to be 15 plus 11 plus 8 plus 4 square roots of 3. So I'm going to get 34 plus 4 square roots of 3. Now I cannot make that 38 square roots of 3. I can't combine these two. The 34 doesn't have a radical 3 on it. They have to be the same. So you either write it as that, or you have to make it a product, which is what I'm trying to do right now, which is 40.9. 40.9 units, okay? Now let's find the area. Well, you already have the area formula, right? So I've got 40.9 units. I've already got the area formula locked up right here. So let's start plugging in. The area is 1/2 base 1, which is 15, plus base 2, which is 11, times the height, which is 4 square root of 3. All I have to do is multiply all those out. So when I multiply that out, I end up getting 1/2 of 26 times 4 square root of 3. So you end up with 52 square roots of 3 units squared, which is also 90.1 units squared. So these are your answers. And that's how you find the area of the trapezoid. 52 square root of 3 units squared, or 90.1 units squared. So those were the ones that qualified you for area of polygons and composites.